Are there certain parts of your pitch deck that are preventing you from getting the capital you need from the right investors? I think there are, because over the last several years, reviewing tens of thousands of pitch decks from every industry you can imagine, and probably some industries you've never heard of before, we have found some very common but deadly mistakes in all of them. So today I picked 3 pitch decks at random in industries like tech, agricultural, and real estate. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what they did, what those deadly mistakes are that they have made, and then I'll reveal some pitch deck tricks that we have personally used over the years to help companies like the ones you're seeing on screen now have successful institutional raises. So without further ado, let's take a look at our first contestant. Now, I'm going to refer to this a lot during my video. This is a checklist that we put together, and this checklist isn't necessarily from our firm, but we've compiled it over the years where we have found successful companies that have successfully raised. We've dissected their deck. We've seen what works, and we've put it into kind of a template, so to speak, so you can reference this. We're going to actually reference it off and on throughout this video. So we'll look at these 3 pitch deck examples. Then we will refer back to our deck slide template, see kind of where they went wrong. Let's have a look now. So the ideal pitch deck checklist starts with keeping it to 12 to 14 slides, 1 main message per slide. We're going to see that a lot. You're going to hear me talk about that a lot. Use clean, consistent design, avoid clutter. Title slide, company name, logo, 1-line value proposition, founder's name, contact information, much like the example here. So now let's take a look at our first contestant. See how they did. Here's a company, Belize Poultry Production. Slide 1, there's their name and their other company name. No contact information, right? As we bounce back here, title slide, be great to have the company name with a logo, 1-line value proposition so they know who you are, what you do, founder's name, contact information. As we bounce back, problem number 1 with slide 1, not off to a great start. Right? What did they do wrong? They didn't introduce themselves other than the names of their company. Well, the investors really don't care about the name of your company. I hate to break it to you. Give them what it is, how to contact you. Let's look at slide 2. Well, slide 2, we go right into the name of their company yet again twice. Okay, not everyone cares about the name of your company. I hate to break it to you. But then they go into 3 paragraphs. Belize Poultry Company, they aim to transform poultry production in Central America and the Caribbean by establishing a fully integrated, cost-efficient supply chain, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we get it, but how can you make this concise, I should say? Let's take a look at this. Title slide. Remember, let's go back just to the basics. The basics says, keep it to 12 to 14 slides max, 1 main message per slide. Use clean, consistent design and avoid clutter. So 1 main message. Is this 1 main message? This is you hearing yourself talk. So how can you design this to be cleaner, tighter, more succinct? That's what we would do with our clients that are looking to raise. We would tighten this up immediately. Let's look at our template slide first. Our template slide next says problem. So what's the problem that these guys are facing? Well, these guys go into why Belize, why poultry production in Belize. Massive demand, vertical integration, okay. Slide 4, why Belize again? Government support, sustainable ESG aligned business model, tourism, okay. And then they go into slide 5, they go into solution. So the investors are scratching their head at this point saying, we talked about why Belize, but now you go into solution, but you can't have a solution before there's a problem. A little out of order there, it needs to be cleaned up. I would put problem first in the industry, and then what's the solution you have to solve that problem? Okay, this is a mess. Let's look at the next one. Market opportunity. Okay, great. Market opportunity. So what's it look like for this company to succeed? And here they have 6 main points, which they put in paragraph form. I'd like to see that in 1-line bullet form. Make it clean, concise, tight. I see a common theme, and products and services that has no need to be in this deck whatsoever, because if we look at our template here, they go from problem, we go from problem to solution. Solution should be 1 sentence. Like, what's your solution? You keep it simple. You make it a quick little visual, a screenshot, an infographic, clear and easy to see and understand. And why now? I think what these guys were trying to do was they put their why now up here when they talked about why Belize. It's out of order. One major theme I want to talk about that you need to understand is that you have mere seconds to capture the attention of an investor looking at your deck. If you're too wordy and you're doing this type of stuff where it's just paragraph after generalization and big lofty promises, you're gonna have a bad day. So you got one chance to do it right. I suggest you follow the guidelines here. So we go into, let's just take a look at the template and see what they would have talked about. They go into why now. So you look at market trends, tech changes, data to show the urgency of it, simple explanation and timing advantage, okay? And then you look at the market TAM, the TAM, the SAM, screenshots, if there's a product involved, what it is, what it looks like, what it does, features of it, the innovations in the marketplace, then your business model, revenue streams, unit economics, these types of things. Traction, how your pre-revenue, or do you have some revenue? Let's see the traction. Are you on a hockey stick type of growth? Let's see the momentum. They want to know what the competition is. So look at this slide, competition slide. They're talking market cap. They're talking differentiation. It's clearly stated. Honest view of both direct and indirect competitors is also nice. They want to see a go-to-market strategy. They want to see your team, and they want to see financials, and ultimately they want to see the ask. So if we go back to Belize, where they talk about the market opportunity, again, I'd like to see that market opportunity refined significantly with maybe some graphics. Product and services not needed there. Business model, okay, I don't hate this. I actually kind of like this. I'd like to see what this really means to me other than just a progression of it. I'd like to see some maybe numbers associated with it. That would draw my attention. Competitive advantage, the graphics would be better here. And then they have a team. Now, the team is actually what I like best about this deck. That, they got a bunch of good old boys here that have lots of experience in this industry, 40 plus years managing large scale live production for some of the biggest production firms out there in North America, 30 years poultry and farming experience, 15 years driving seed innovation. These guys know what they're talking about. So we would want to lead with this in a certain degree because this is the strength of this slide as I see it so far. Having this at the end of their deck is not helping them any. But here's where we have some trouble. Now we get into what they call the appendix. And now they expect the investor to just kind of squint their eyes and read this. Poultry production costs, they're seeing what the cost is. They need a processing facility for $15 million. Total comes down to close to $60 million. There's a better visual for this rather than just spewing numbers on a page. Now, that being said, here, this point I'm going to make is that we have one shot to get in with the investors on the front end. After you get an initial approval to talk with them, maybe they raise their hand and said, I want to hear more. Then you could bring these more data-driven, analytical, number crunching slides to them and give them more data. In the front end deck, please don't do it. You're going to lull them to sleep and you're going to miss the opportunity to get your foot in the door with some good investors. And then he goes on for 2 more slides, 3 more slides, 4 more slides, and he doesn't have a call to action at the end. You always want to have a call to action at the end. As you can tell by our template here, what's the ask? Clear, concise. What are you going to use the fund? You need $60 million? Okay, so $60 million is going to buy you a facility in Belize. Great. What else are you going to use for those funds? What's the runway for it? So, okay, that was number 1. That was a tough roast. Number 2, this is a real estate development deck. Let's have a quick look. So here, nice. I like what he did here with his logo, building sustainable futures for communities. Okay, pretty straightforward. Pitch deck. I'd love to see a contact information for him on there. But off to a better start than our first one. Challenges of affordable housing. I like this. Talk about the problem. I like that. It's a little wordy, but we get the idea. Maybe a pie chart could be a little more succinct here, but it's okay. I'm not going to destroy it. Let's look at the next slide. Affordable housing challenges. So he's going more on challenges. Just tweak existing strategies. We revolutionize them. Here's their solution, right? So the rapid construction, affordable, horizontal expansion, economic benefits. I don't mind that either. And then unique strategies, key differentiations. He's talking about how they are different. Way too wordy, way too graphical. They need more simplicity in here, in my opinion. If I were helping them with this deck, my team were doing it, we'd make it much more simple and strategic. Okay, building community impact. I like the visual. I don't love this huge, long run-on paragraph. Get rid of it. Make a quick little title or a one-liner and then point to that. Let's look at slide number 7, transforming operations inside and out. So this is more based on their solution. And here's the opportunity: revolution, affordable housing, impactful investments for urgent, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Way too wordy. You see this, right? What is this telling us? This is not leading us down the road towards saying yes to wanting to invest with you. It's just talking just to talk. We don't want to do that. And then he just kind of goes on more and more and more, a little bit of building the dream, which I actually like this. This is simple. Look, this is a perfect example. When you keep it simple, I saw this slide and my heart was warm. It's nice visual. It's simple. It's easy to read. My brain can digest it very quickly. And when you're reviewing hundreds upon hundreds of decks a week, like I am, and like the investors are, you will appreciate slides like this. Not really sure what this slide is doing in here. I'd can this too. let's just take a quick look. There's 21 pages in here. So look, he has a little call to action here. You can contact Patrick at the very end here. Let's just go back. And here he's looking for 260 million required for first phase for 1,600 homes. So he's pretty clear. He needs 260 million. It's going to get him 1,600 homes. And there we go. It's going to show operating revenue, factory setup, staffing, 10 3D printers. Not terrible, right? A big improvement from the last one. Okay, so deck number 3 comes to us from Tennessee, Springfield, Tennessee. And he's looking to do some Bitcoin mining. And here on his first page, he's got a nice little one-liner, which is great. He's looking for private equity and family office funds, an exclusive investment opportunity in digital asset infrastructure with exceptional returns, and privileged exposure to Bitcoin. Don't mind that. Would love an email or phone number on that first slide to keep it quick and brief. Executive summary. Look, I don't mind executive summaries up front like this. I think it's okay. It's kind of passé several years ago, but it's okay if you feel it warrants it. I prefer keeping it much tighter, but this is okay to put in here if you feel you need it. Well, let's take a look at his third slide. He's talking about where the location for his real estate is, where it is, 6.23 hectares. Okay. Now he's doing an electrical play with it as well. So he's talking about what it's going to produce. That's not terrible, although it's a lot. I'd like to see this in a more graphical form. And the next slide here, he's talking about his ask. So he's looking for 58 million. And this is the CapEx involved, which is fine. It could be a little cleaner and easier to read, but nonetheless, not horrible. Business model and value proposition, he talks about a little bit here. Again, I'd like to see this more succinct. We don't need a big picture here. Maybe make this smaller and make these points more graphical. 5-year projection chart. Like this, clean, easy to read, 816 Bitcoin total production, annual IRR 32%, 2.2 years capital recovery. Very tight, very nice. Okay, then he goes and talks about the exit plan and the liquidity strategy. That is nice to have in a slide to the investors. They're going to want to know that at some point, maybe not in the first deck, but it's nice to have if you have room for it and your deck is not, 25 pages already. Nice to squeeze this in. He talks about it. Risk and mitigation metrics. Okay, what could possibly go wrong? Hopefully the next slide he's going to talk about how he fixes it, and he does. Advantages for the institutional investor. Got it. Great. I'd like this more, you guessed it, more graphical. Application and next steps. And finally, he gets to the team. And what do we not like about this? Well, it's AI images. We don't love AI, right? You're looking for $60 million. Put a picture of yourself. They want to see you and all your wrinkles and gray hair. They don't want to see a touched up AI image. Just put yourself in there. He's got a good board here, which is great. The more leverage you can pull with a board on your executive team and put them facing forward to the investors, the better you're going to be. And then contact information, great. Okay. Unique investment opportunity. Okay, so he's 15 slides in. Let's just take a quick look. 12 to 14 slides max. 1 page extra, I'll let him slide. I want to go back to how to keep your deck simple, clean, nice and tight, because you have this amount of time to get your message across to that investor before he says great or he absolutely pushes the button on the next deck, which he will do for 98% of them out there that come through every single day. Before we wrap this up, I want to go through a little something I put together for you guys, and you have access to this if you'd like it. Click the link in the description. There'll be access to this pitch deck checklist template. You're definitely going to want to get a hold of this so you can keep your deck simple. Quick little anecdote story. I had a firm that came to us looking to raise capital. They were looking to raise $400 million for a real estate development. I said, great, send over your deck. Let our due diligence team review your deck. Well, he sent over the deck, and you guessed it. It was a 48-page glossy brochure that they paid $250,000 for, and it was awful. We had to rebuild absolutely everything. So a lot of times CEOs get buried in the weeds. Just keep it simple. Just follow this template that I'm showing you here and keep it simple, and you'll go a lot farther than you will spending millions of dollars trying to make it look pretty. Let's review it. Every slide is clear in under 5 seconds. Make sure your key messages are immediately apparent to viewers. Don't want them to think and read 3 paragraphs on the slide. All visuals are high quality and consistent across your brand of the deck. Contact info is on both the first and the last slide of the deck. Very important. Email, phone, crucial. No more than 1 to 2 fonts and 2 to 3 brand colors. Story flows logically from problem all the way through to the ask that you're asking for the investment because we're building a story. You got to pull them down this storyline with you. Very crucial. Now, also in here, we have pitch deck mistakes. I was kind of torn about this because I don't want you focusing on this, but it's really good to kind of look at after you've built your initial deck following our template. Look through these mistakes and make sure you don't have any of these built in. Overloading slides with too many words, leaving out key slides, cluttered or overcomplicated slides. We get this one a lot from our CEOs and owners. Shallow market analysis, team slide that adds no confidence and no real purpose. We don't want them on the slides. Put your best people forward. Repeating the same content, typos, no roadmap or milestones, missing or weak go-to-market plan. And then here at the end is a quick founder checklist before you send your deck. Is every slide clear in under 5 seconds? Does the slide cover one key idea? Read this, follow this. This is going to be your Bible as you're raising, whether it's pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B, all the way to $2 billion institutional capital raise. Doesn't matter. Should follow the same format. So don't get me wrong. Your pitch deck is absolutely crucial to get your foot in the door with the investors. And it definitely could be holding you back from making money with the right investors. But if you want to raise institutional capital, there's so much more that you need rather than just a pretty deck, which is why I made this video right here, your comprehensive guide to raising institutional capital at pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B, whatever your needs are. This is the video that's going to take you there from soup to nuts. And this is one of the most comprehensive guides on this topic anywhere on the internet. And that's whether you're a first-time founder with a dream or a seasoned business owner with multiple exits, this is the video for you. So we'll see you over there.